Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fan fiction story time. In this installment, we will be revisiting the wonderful world of Among Us, as there are several stories I did not get to read last time. With Among Us being a modern game, all the stories have been posted on fanfiction.net within the past year, and I have received permission from the authors to read each of them. I will be linking each story in the description, so be sure to show the authors some of your support. Without further ado, let's crack into another bit of Among Us fanfics. OMG, Red. Can you believe that we are going into space? I mean, like, have you ever in your wildest dreams? Did you think we were going into space? Lime is bounding around the launch pad with glee and annoying his fellow crewmates. Before Red could even get in a word, Orange sighs. Yes, Red, we are all very excited. We know, and believe me, we know that you're excited. So, could you please stop talking and running around? I mean, come on, Brown's kid is behaving better than you. Orange was standing up by the end of his rant, and 10 heads were nodding in agreement. Orange, while I can agree with you, you can't say anything. If I remember correctly, you were the one who was saying, and I quote, Black stands up and impersonates Orange. Come on, people, get a move on. The less time we spend packing, the sooner we can get this show on the road. So as you can see, you have the right to remain silent and seated. Everyone nods their head in agreement and goes back to what they are doing. The crewmates have all gotten bored after waiting around for 3 hours waiting for takeoff. So they all give in to Junior's, Brown's kid, wishes and play hide and seek. When an overhead speaker miraculously lets them know that they will be launching in T-minus 30 seconds. A thank waffles and waffles and waffles where are heard. Okay, side note, right here in the story, there's like a bunch of O's, lowercase and uppercase. I think it's supposed to be an onomatopoeia or whatever. I'm not sure though, I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce this, but it's supposed to be some sort of sound effect. Maybe like a speaker alert or something. Okay, continuing. Aw, man, the lights are out. Better go fix it. Cyan goes off towards electrical and tells everyone not to worry, he has it under control. Cyan walks in and sees an eerie white glow. What in the galaxy is that? Cyan wonders as he walks towards it. A gory and traumatizing 30 minutes later, Cyan is longer Cyan. Lime walks away from White and goes into electrical. Lime sees Cyan and decides to compliment. Wow, man, great job with the lights. Hey, are you okay? Because you don't look so good here. Just be quiet while I break your neck. What? Dude, back off. I guess there's a neck break there. 1 down, 8 more to go. Now where is my next victim? Cyan sees the vent system and figures that they would have a great way of sneaking around undetected. Hey Pink, I have to go download some data on electrical. But you're more than welcome to come with me, Brown informs Pink. Oh, I actually have to go that way. I'll follow. They both go off towards their destinations, being bombarded with questions from Junior. Brown walks into electrical to download some data, while Pink goes into storage to get some gas. Little did they know that they were in for the biggest surprise in their lives. Here's that sound effect again. Emergency meeting. Please report to the cafeteria. I repeat, please report to the cafeteria. Lime's dead! Cyan killed Lime! Brown shouts when everyone is gathered. What? Everyone shouts in unison. How is it me? I was in security. Cyan lies. No, you weren't. Yellow and I were in security. You were not there, Black retorts, with Yellow vigorously shaking his head. I saw Cyan hurt Mommy's friend, and then clean the vents, Junior tells everyone in a cute, innocent way. Thank you, sweetie. Now, who votes to get this imposter off our ship? I know I do, Brown says with tears streaming down her face. There's the sound effect again. I'll be back, you invaders. I'll be back. End of story. Alright, so this is just a pretty standard Among Us story of some crewmate going on a killing spree and getting outed immediately. Which is a pretty clean game, I must say. Nobody got thrown off the ship wrongfully. We're a dying race, us imposters. Driven from our planet by spacefaring do-gooders, we have struggled to survive in the endless vacuum of space. I have watched my friends die day after day, losing their shape-shifting abilities and reverting to a state torn apart by the universe's infinity. One day, I will join them, but that day is not today. Today, I forget about the possibilities. I forget about the endings. I must ensure the survival of my race. I will find us a nest, a place to breed and lay our eggs and raise our young. We can't do that in this vacuum, in this non-corporeal form, far away from our old home and no closer to our new one. But we will not fail. We will not fade away. Hunted by a predator, infinitely empty and infinitely large. We will not be unremembered. Ship. There's a ship. One of those human spacefaring vessels. It's a message, a miracle, and it's our only chance. It will not let us down. It will not let us die. Chapter 2. Red 1. Oh yeah, I did forget to read the chapter in the beginning. It was Chapter 1, Imposter 1. Now. Chapter 2, Red 1. We've been out here for what? About a month now? It's quiet. Empty. There's no one out here but us, so yeah, that's fun. Everyone keeps to themselves for the most part. We complete our tasks, stay out of trouble. And we don't talk. I don't know if they're all introverts, or if there's a problem with the comms or something. We don't have any reason to talk, anyway. The ship's on autopilot, heading towards home, so no need to talk about that. We each receive our tasks every morning and complete them quite easily throughout the day. No need to talk about that. What else do we have to talk about? What would they even say to me? Oh, hello there, Red. We've been working together for several weeks, and I still don't know your name. Want to chill in the cafeteria with me? No thanks. We've definitely passed the if you haven't talked by now, don't talk at all date. Still, maybe something will happen? Maybe we'll finally have a reason to talk. No, what am I saying? Something really horrible would have to happen. Like, I don't know, a murder or something. Huh, who'd get murdered out here? Chapter 3, Green 1. The silence is deafening. I never really understood what that meant. Silence? Deafening? That's the literal opposite of silence. I mean, it doesn't make sense. At all. Except out here. No one talks. Why does no one talk? Is there some huge conspiracy? Do they all talk behind my back? What if they've disabled my comm? Oh god. I need to check. Communications. Right here. Let's see. No. No. Not that. Huh. Comms are up, running perfectly. Why does no one use them then? Chapter 4, Imposter 2. I did not expect it to be that easy. One of those humans were outside of the vessel, attached to it by a rope-like object. I simply cut the rope. I am glad their face was hidden under their helmet. I am grateful that sound does not carry in space. Their expression of panic and their screams cannot reach me. However, my imagination provides me with a vivid enough rendering. But I have a mission. I cannot let my conscience distract me. If I must, I will suffocate my inhibitions beneath the primal instinct of my race. We used to be predators, murderers, slaughterers. We can be them again. Ha! I say we, but where are the rest of my kind? Cowards. Maybe I shall let them all die. Once this ship is cleared of pests, I can raise the next generation of imposters without the cowardice of their DNA polluting the future of our race. If they truly cared about our survival, we would have attacked the ship together. No crew could stand a chance against our combined might. But no. They each care too much about their individual survival, not our collective well-being. Imposter used to be a compliment for our race. But they are more than that. They are traitors. They have no place in our future. So I don my color. I take my form. I return to the ship. I have my mission. To be continued. That's the end. I actually like that one quite a bit. Kind of like as the imposter set up as being some sort of alien instead of just a murderous weirdo on the ship. White clawed at her suit, trying to find the hole. It was just a tiny slit, yet it had been big enough for the thing to slide through, hadn't it? She was holding her breath and forced herself to exhale. The weird feeling on her skin was just the hair standing on end, surely. Being alone in storage always did this to her. White hated how the lights on the skeld made the shadows lurch in the corner of her eye. That was all she had seen, a shadow. Still, she moved to sit under the biggest light in the compartment and prod further at her arm. Her gloves worked well enough when she was working with wires on her keyboard, but trying to find a hairline slit in the polyurethane was like questing for a needle in a silver haystack. White purposefully took a deep breath. She couldn't see anything. That didn't mean it wasn't there, but it... paranoia. That was all this was. Even if she had a break in her suit, which she didn't, there certainly weren't any black, oozing slugs slipping around their latest shipment. That was that. Her stomach would not settle. 3 trips to medical for scans had left the cause elusive. White checked her calendar. It wasn't her cycle, too early. She even switched her ration packs with the others when they rolled the bland toasted unsalted eggs from the dispenser. Nothing seemed to keep the nausea at bay. She took painfully long to finish her tasks, earning her Red's disapproval and Pink's pity. If there was anyone to be pitied, it should have been Orange, but no. Even he was able to reset navigation quicker than White could fix a simple admin card swipe. White found herself hunched over her knees in the hallway on her way to the reactor, trying just to breathe without dry heaving. She was sweating, too. Something was definitely wrong. The corners of her eyes danced with movement, even when she was alone. "What's wrong with me?" White whimpered. The absolute worst thing would be if she vomited inside of the suit. Hobbling 1 footstep at a time, White pointed herself towards medical once more. White didn't remember going back to the ship's quarters. She came to while sitting at the little desk in the middle of her shared quarters with red and purple. Confusion mixed with the nausea in her gut, and she immediately placed her forehead back on the desk. Closing her eyes and counting to 10 helped. The darkness behind them was soothing. She didn't have to squint from the light, and that damned tremor at the edges of her eyes wouldn't bother her. At least she hadn't thrown up. White exhaled and slowly spread her fingers out on the desktop. After another countdown, this time just to 5, she pushed herself back to an upright position. So far, so good. The churning in her gut hadn't reacted. Next came cracking one eyelid open. The lights in their quarters were warmer in tone. Normally that helped White to feel a bit cozier, even in the relative starkness of the rest of the skeld. Today it just burned. "We don't like that." White jerked to her feet, her panic overtaking any priority about not feeling good. "Who's that?" she called. One hand curled defensively around the desk light. It wouldn't do much, but she wouldn't be caught empty-handed if a stowaway was about to attack her. A tickle rose in her throat. She felt... White wanted to laugh. There was nothing funny about this. Her pulse quickened. "We are not a threat to you. We cannot hurt you." White scurried to the door, wrenching it open. She still had the desk lamp clutched in one hand, the wire tugging free from the outlet with a cheerful pop and spark. Out in the hall, nothing awaited her. No stranger, no stowaway, not even Purple standing there cackling after successfully pranking her. "They are away. They will not be coming back." "What did you do to them?" White called out, spinning on her heel to race back into the room. Maybe she had missed the culprit. It just didn't make sense. How could she still hear the voice? Again, the urge to laugh bubbled up from within. White let out a frustrated cry and shook her head. The room was empty. She was alone, and yet she was not. And yet... "We did it. We must remember, yes?" The voice was not going away. If anything, it was stronger. White threw the desk lamp at the darkest corner of the room. Everything seemed to be getting darker. The orange lights were straining her eyes so much. Couldn't it just be darker? When White closed her eyes, she saw terrible things. Tendrils erupting from her mouth, gripping Purple's neck and twisting it till it snapped. White gloves, her gloved hands, tearing off their helmet to reveal their wide eyes and glossy death stare. Yes. No, she croaked. It was a night terror. This wasn't real. She was having a fever dream. From the sickness. A strange flu from deep space, or from one of the cargo shipments this week. White gripped the sides of her helmet and sank to the ground. No, 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 she repeated quietly to herself. Yes, 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 yes. Stop. Stop it, White cried out firmly. The voice fell silent. She rocked back and forth, her breathing erratic and desperate. She would go to medical. That would give her answers, not incoherent paranoia. Purple was probably an electrical for his shift. There was no reason to be losing her head like this. Pink found the body. He sent out a panicked alert over the ship's scratchy intercom and summoned them all first to security to show everyone. White threw up finally. At least she wasn't the only one, though. It would take a strong person not to give in to queasiness upon seeing the utter massacre that was Purple's remains. Spirits. There was so much blood. Red called a meeting once White and Blue cleaned themselves up. He was shaken, but remained resolute. We have a traitor among us, Red said firmly as the crew clustered around the cafeteria. White knew if she wasn't so dehydrated, she would have been sweating buckets. There was no chance that the culprit wouldn't be covered in evidence. Each time that someone looked at her, she tried not to flinch. Or a stowaway, Orange added. White let herself breathe out at that. Of course, there still was no proof that what had happened to Purple was her fault. There hadn't been a drop of blood on her suit. When she had gotten changed just now, she had her backup to change into. With what happened to Purple, there was no chance that the culprit wouldn't be covered in evidence. But still White couldn't deny the vivid recollection knocking quietly at the back of her mind. She cleared her throat and offered, We need to do a full sweep of the ship then. We've already delayed a lot. Heads nodded. Red crossed his arms. Good. They will be distracted. White tensed. It went unnoticed as Yellow started to poke at her suggestion. She was a stickler for precise plans. Do we go in pairs? Keep an eye on one another? Scoffing, Black shook his head. Keeping an eye on one another's back or watching to see who might be a killer, Yellow? He retorted. White stayed out of the discussion. She didn't trust that if she opened her mouth that her words would come out. Her skin was crawling. The only godsend was that she didn't feel like her stomach had been put through a blender. If she ignored the wriggling, tingling feeling cascading down to her wrists, White would be fine. Yes, trust that we will stay safe. They will fight one another. She shook her head unthinkingly. There was no we between her and this, whatever it was. Red scoffed. What, you don't like your plan all of a sudden? He growled. I saw that, White. This was too hard, too much. She wanted to run and hide in her bunk until this nightmare would end. Do not let them suspect. White started to hyperventilate. Too many sets of eyes were on her. Their owners confused and ready to pounce on anything that could be suspicious. Answer them. We are not going to be found, not after so long. White let go. That was all she could do. She felt something ease along her skin, inside of her, and curl warmly at the base of her skull. Immediately, her shoulders relaxed and she could breathe normally. I'm just so scared, White heard herself say. She could feel her tongue moving to form each word and her mouth working. But it wasn't her. It was the other thing. She trembled for a moment and scrambled once more for control again. Trust. Yes? White clung to her own awareness, very much aware that she was still under a microscope. With the memory of Purple's corpse still raw, it was just too much for her. She ceded to the strange presence. It wasn't trust, but it was something. Yes. End. Okay, so this was yet another story that tries to explain the origins of an imposter. This time around, it seems to be some sort of parasitic slug. Kind of like the slugs in Animorphs, if anybody's ever read that book series. Check it out if you haven't, it's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, that's that. Alright everyone, that's a wrap. I hope you all enjoyed the stories as well as my slightly more condensed formatting for this episode. I figured I would just display the authors' names and publish dates visually and not waste any time speaking. I feel it allows for increased focus on the stories themselves. If you did enjoy this episode, be sure to hit the like button, throw a sub my way, and turn notifications on if you're interested in more of my content. I'm still in the process of working on a pretty hefty video that I'm excited to reveal, so stick around. Stay tuned and stay cool.